This is the Anime Analyst. I am your host, Thomas Fry.
And I'm your co-host, Stan Zeri.
Alright, welcome tonight. It is a fine, whatever the hell day it is. It is a Wednesday. Sorry, I had to look. I was thinking Tuesday, but no, it's a Wednesday. Alright, tonight we have a anime that it finished in right at the beginning of the fall season last year, but they are dubbing it now. They are currently dubbing it. We got 4 more episodes that have not been dubbed, so it needs to be reviewed. This is a really good anime. It's called Beserk of Gluttony, and it's a 12 episode. It finished airing, like I said, December of 2023. It was done by A.C.G.T Studios. The source was it was done from a light novel. The genre is action fantasy, and it is rated R17 plus for violence and profanity. And yeah, there's no shortage of violence in this one, but it does have a story behind it, which is really cool. Now, we decided that because we've done like 35 shows, we are still at the beginning. We did a show where we talked about ourselves. You can go back and get a general. We'll do that again periodically to keep you up. But right now, we're going to kind of talk resume real quick, and then we'll get back to Beserk of Gluttony. I have been watching anime for 15 years now, and I've seen everything that is on Crunchyroll from before Funimation ended, before Sony bought it all, before all that disaster, and, you know, I go way back, High Dive, all these different places. I mean, I'll go anywhere to get it. I have Netflix, I have Prime Video, I have Hulu. I mean, I didn't care where I had to go to get my anime because I don't even own a TV. All my screens, even the big screen in my bedroom, is a computer monitor because I get everything that I watch is anime or YouTube video. I really watch no regular TV. I don't need it. The stories are bogus, and you know, you have to sit there for an hour, and the commercial breaks are longer than what they're actually showing. So you get 15 minutes of commercial, 12 minutes of show, 15 minutes of commercial, and they're repeating constantly. So it's insane. So I said, the hell with it all. I'm watching anime. I got a good imagination, so I have no problem following everything. Then, as we told you, I met his name here about a little over 2 years ago, and because every time he'd call me in the truck, he'd hear anime in the background, and I mean, that's all I talk about because that's all I watch, and so he checked it out, and he's gotten into it so much he likes it as much as I do. So go ahead, Hussein, give your resume to our audience of.
Yep. So I started watching animes constantly. Like I used to watch but not regularly. But when we started talking and you started telling me about the shows, and now we are doing this show, so I watch all the animes that we are doing shows, but just watching one time didn't cover all the things.
It was everything I told you it was, right? I mean, it really made it. Animes work really well with the human brain in how we're already imagining things. It just lets that fantasy go a little bit farther, which fulfills my need for. I've already got a great imagination, so when I'm following along with these stories, I get them really easy. And then I was always talking to you about them. You know, I mean, I'm sitting at a truck stop for 3 days, and, you know, I'm in the cab of my truck for 3 days, so it's not like I can go anywhere or do anything.
Yes, I
So
remember that. When I asked you like what do you do at a truck stop, you told me like I have three different tablets and like six subscriptions.
I should
And
put, you know what? I'll post a picture of the inside of my truck because it looks like I had a cop tell me, a DOT officer told me my truck looked like the space shuttle because I had more computing power in my truck than this, literally, than the space shuttle had in it to go to space. And I was always into computers. I can program. I got a degree in digital forensics, and I've always been into computers. And fortunately, and I did that radio show for 4 years, so that helped in knowing what to do and how to bring this information to you. And just with these long conversations came in, we became really good friends. And I even after I lost the company, we still kept talking. And of course, I'm always watching anime, so it always came up. And if you talk to, we would talk at least every other day for 2-3 hours at a time when we did talk. So, and
at
it's
the
just.
end of the day, we will having a like 2 3 hour video call and we have different conversation each time.
So we would have long conversations, and I'm good at storytelling, so I would sometimes explain to him all 12 episodes in about 15 minutes of what the story is that I was watching. And anime, because of the quality of directors and where they get their stories from, and the illustrations, and all the people that work into. How did that pop up? That was weird. Um, Sorry about that, folks. Anyway, so let's get back to Beserk of Gluttony. Now, along with telling you about this anime, we also have Beserk of Gluttony Season 2. Will it be? Because I keep hearing about, Beserk of Gluttony Season 2 coming, and you know what? Honestly, we will let you know when the producers put out a press release that it's going to happen, because most of that stuff is YouTube talk to get you to. It's called clickbait. And we don't do clickbait here at Anime Analyst. We analyze the anime. That's why that name is very important. And it's not a silly little name that most people use on YouTube, but we wanted it. We have fun doing the show, but we are very serious about what we're talking about. So let's get started. Beserk of Gluttony, the 7 deadly sins in the world, and this kid's got stuck with gluttony. So they start off with, they show this poor kid sitting there with his belly rumbling, and of course nobles are passing by, so they, bully him, beat the crap out of him because his stomach was growling. That's a noble for you. I can't stand nobles either, so I'm a good old-fashioned commoner, and I'm from Ohio. So that, and I know Hussein, you're from Lahore, Pakistan, so you a commoner right along with me. So we get it. We understand the bullying, and we see it right away and all that. And it does a cutscene back to when he's sitting on a park bench, and this beautiful young holy knight comes by. She's blonde hair, real short, bobtail cut, gives him food and talks nice to him and all that. And so it puts this thought in your mind, and there's a reason why I'm explaining this. Then it cuts back to the modern scene where he's guarding the gate because these nobles are too lazy to do it, so they pay this commoner to do it, and they get to beat him up and be mean. And Roxy Hart comes by, and I believe that's on 2. Yep. This lady comes by, and she says, you know what? Why don't you come work for me? And he's got doubts because, he doesn't want to. This Holy Knight's been really good to him, so he doesn't want to abuse the privilege or nothing. And then some people try to jump over the wall. He sees it, runs back. lets her know. She goes in. One of them, she's a holy knight. She takes down 2 out of 3. One gets away, and he's heading back out. And good old Fate uses the flagpole, and he spears the dude. All right. Well, that starts the whole thing, because then his stomach don't rumble, and he hears Gluttony has activated, and that just, his life now is different. Everything that he experienced up to that point, and then
Like he didn't know like what is the really skill is about. Like he just think like he has a useless skill and everybody else also think that he has. But when he figure it
right.
out in the episode, like it is the like the best skill out there. Like whenever he kills somebody, he get their stats.
Well,
That
anything. It doesn't necessarily even have to be anybody. It's not. It doesn't turn him into a murderer. That's whether he's fighting monsters, whether he's fighting, people, or if he's fighting, what do they call them? Oh,
crown most crown monsters.
well, no, the big dragon ones. They're
The divine dragon.
Well, yeah, the divine dragon he fought at the end, but there was other dragons along the way in like 5 and 6. I was trying to remember what the name of them were.
Yeah,
Chimera.
the
They're
episode
called.
he found the bully from his childhood, and when he saved him, like that.
Well, that's kind of, and this is already. We're not going to have no spoilers. This has been over for a year. That's the way they do this story is, I love it, because they drop that hint in the first 15 seconds of the show, but you don't understand where that plays until you're at episode 10, when he's talking about, Fate did not, even through episode 12, he still didn't put it together that Roxy Hart and his new employer and that girl that night that came and gave him food on the park bench is the same person, because his hair was cut short. You don't want to offend a noble in that time he's living, so you can't, you don't walk up to a girl that has hair down to her butt and say, was that you that had a bobtail? That you don't say anything that would
No, because like
offend.
they put it, like I also missed that part. Like I had to ask you, like who was
Right.
the girl that gave him the sandwich?
And they're all over in this, because when he meets Mine, which Mine is this character, that character, that's Mine. She's holding Wrath. Wrath is the axe that, now, when they give you a couple episodes of Fate fighting with Mine, and then going to and showing you Mine's eating everything, and Lord Barbados from Hausen, they train him, and then they leave that installation, they leave that village. Then Roxy, her whole crew, which she has 300 knights with her, they stop and camp there, and Lord Barbados teaches her. Well, they don't put that together till 6 episodes later, in the last episode, or sorry, 11, when she notices Fate. She goes, well, you've been taught by Lord Barbados. So, and they do that throughout the story, throughout the entire anime, from the beginning to the end. I had to watch this 5 times to actually, and especially if you're watching it in subtitles, you do gotta watch it several times, because I tried to count them right before the show started, and I think there's 8, and I forget what it's called in story writing, when you have a scene over here and then explain it, hours later, because these are 3.5 hours long. If you watch it, if you binge it, it's 3.5 hours. So something you see in the first 15 seconds, and the payoff ain't till 3 hours and 15 minutes later. I see how how it gets missed and how that is. But to me, that's good storytelling. That's proper direction. That's an awesome job by the illustrators. That's a good job by the voice actors and the voice actresses. I mean, I give this anime very high marks, and I know we went way over time tonight, but we wanted to make sure that you understood, where our levels were, and that way, it gives us two different perspectives from a guy that hasn't seen a lot but likes anime, and a guy that's insane about anime and has seen everything. And I see everything that comes out every single day, 7 days a week. I don't ever miss what came out new on Crunchyroll or High Dive, or it's a little bit harder to do it in all manga because they don't have a list on there. But
And that also helps, like if we talked about it, like I know if I have any question related to anime and I can ask that to you, and that way the other person, like who missed something, they can find out by listening to somebody who has watched it, and he can tell you about that.
or ask us on any video. We will see your comment or question, and I read every single comment written. I will answer every single one that I can, or Hassan will. You will get a question answered from us. So I hope you like the new decor. We keep trying to get things pinned down and make it not seem. Now remember, we're 9,000 miles away, so we have to do this on Skype. We have no choice. But we're trying not to make it seem so phone callish. We're trying to do something nice for you, and we hope you enjoy it. So have a good evening, and we will talk to you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Wait a minute. Today's Wednesday, ain't it? No, we're all right. Anyway, yeah. I was just thinking, I put this on Wednesday in case we had to go long, so I'm glad what we were doing was long. So anyway, we will see you tomorrow. You have a good night. Talk to you later.